So this is an ABC meeting rhythm for a get shit done accountability team. And so you set a monthly action plan meeting where you share the key objectives for the month. You set the 3 key specific results to ensure that objective is met. And then you synthesize with the team for contacts and experience. And then you have your bi-weekly brainstorm. So that's where you sort of progress on the key results. You process or cascade down those key results into sets of tasks. And then you sort of ponder ideas and processes to accomplish them as a team, to accomplish that key result. And then, the daily check-ins, which is sometimes just celebratory sort of meetings, but you sort of discuss almost what you finished from yesterday, what is the focus for the day, and if there are any finds for the future that you need with your team. So that's in a very, very sort of quite intense nutshell what we're doing. I will pull in another window, which is the sort of an overview of the book. It's not a heavy book currently. It's work in development, so it's an ebook. But obviously, if people wanting to understand anything more about the methodology or our story today, then by all means check out getfocused.team and the ebook there for you to download.
Thanks for that. I like it. I think the key things that I pulled out from that is the action points around, a lot of meetings are for meeting's sake sometimes, and having that formality around having the structure in place before and a time bound component around, we're talking about these are the objectives, let's have a chat, but what are the actions, but having that documented. So I can see this being quite good for certainly the remote aspect of what we're encountering now. So board meetings, for instance, I've chaired quite a few board meetings, and obviously they need to be documented. The tasks and actions need to be in a place where everyone can see them. Things like training as well. I think that's good. So I think in a pre-COVID world, it would be good, but in a current COVID world, I think it's very pertinent. So if you were to summarize the major benefits of this in kind of a elevator pitch, or what would be the biggest wins in your eyes, if I haven't already conveyed them to your clients?
Reduce admin, I think, and consolidate. Not only reduce but consolidate. I think only conduct meetings with purpose. So I think if you haven't got a purpose for meeting, don't have it. So that in many ways streamlines meetings. And I think one thing that we've got in development currently is actually giving an overview of the engagement level of the meeting. And I'm a big fan of this sort of philosophy that Google pioneered, and it was called the Aristotle Project, where they said in order to sort of get psychological safety in teams, leaders or meeting chairs, whether you want to call it a meeting chair or a leader of that team, needs to ensure that there's a high level of engagement and a high level of empathy. Engagement at this stage is reasonably doable, let's say, to measure and give a metric on. Empathy, you'd be surprised, but it is actually doable as well. But I think it's based on a sort of a partner company that we're talking to currently here in Latvia. But that I think it's timing, because I think maybe when you start going into an AI world where we're measuring feelings like that, there might be some clients that are receptive for that, but it might actually spook other people out. And I think kind of that's something we're exploring at the moment, really.
Well, on that point, actually, I think there is a play around the importance of understanding language within a textual position. So what someone writes might not mean what you think it means, and how it's conveyed. So measuring empathy, I think, is really important, but also it's important to actually gauge the engagement, isn't it? So how do you do that? Is it the number of comments or likes or or actual clicks?
Sure. Engagement during the meeting, as long as everyone my vision is that you would have the tracker up on your screen, I have the tracker on my screen, and we're working on this document together. By having that on both on all participants, I hate the word user, but anyway, all get focused participants have the program up. It's a very simple metric. By just once your phone is active, once the speaker on your computer is activated, we can give a measurement of that engagement based on the sort of the diversity of microphones being.
I mean, just on that point, I'm working with a business that actually interprets text information in the form of how much empathy or how that's said. So if I said to you, "This is fantastic," or I said to you, "This is fantastic," you can't tell the difference in text, can you?
No.
So the danger is that people putting comments on that system, you don't really know it, you know, you can't tell the body language and all that kind of stuff. So I do think over time that empathy piece is actually quite important.
It's good to hear. The partner company I'm working with here will be delighted to hear that as well.
Yeah.
Because I think,
do you understand what I mean though? Because
it's
very easy for people just to, you know, I think with Zooms you can generally tell, you know, the face-to-face contact. It's not the same as being in the room, but you can tell whether I'm engaged or not, if I'm authentic, if I'm real, if I'm, you know. So if you can combine that as well, I mean, I think it's a fantastic idea, a fantastic product, and one that I would advocate many businesses having, particularly businesses that have disparate teams, remote teams, number of meetings, and also, you know, Zooms for Zoom's sake. You know, I've been involved in lots of businesses that have Zooms, and it tends to be more of a chat